Well, a nice bright blue morning out there, so I'll get the morning's painting in before the sun comes round too much and hits the canvas. Today we're doing something a little different. The last couple of days we did those lovely river scenes and reflections and trees. Then we did the street one yesterday, which is very different for you again, with a figure as well, because I know some of you like to see me painting figures. This time we're painting a vista, a view across Argenton. It's the only one I'm going to do at the moment with this view. I had to squeeze it a little bit into the painting. The actual photograph again, rather bleached out, although I've enhanced some colours and patterns. I'm going to have to make up a lot of this sky by memory and by enhancing the photograph as well, taking it further. So again, I'm going to be going back to my flat brushes at the moment and using a fairly large one for this, I reckon. Let's have a look. What should we use today? We'll use at least a ½ inch on this. Let's get it going then. We'll start with the sky, work our way down. I think so I've got to decide what I'm going to do with this white area here. It's great fun in a way because it pushes you to either use memory for the having painted landscapes a lot, or to push these colours more. I certainly want the vibrance of a lovely light day. And so I don't just want white up there, so what I'm going to do is take some yellow ochre at first and white, just a little touch of yellow ochre, which would be a fairly warm yellow, and put white over that to give me a really light sort of sky there, and then I'm going to drag some light blue over that later as well, I suspect. So fairly thick paint. I'm going to put a bit more paint out, I think. And then after this one I'm going to take a little break and paint a scene of one of my students, in fact, who was sitting on my hammock in France reading. And I thought it was rather delightful painting because it was underneath the birch trees and it's got a lot of potential for several mediums. We always try and choose the best method and medium for the subject. The light was shining over her between the branches of the birch tree. She's wearing a longer dress, which is also quite nice, and I thought it was a very attractive piece to work from, so I will do that after this just for my own pleasure. Fun, because I want to really push the colours in that as an impressionist piece as well. Right, I've got a very warm yellow there, and I'm going to bring some cooler yellows across that later, but first of all I'm going to make up this beautiful turquoises and greens here. So I'm going to take my white again. I need a lot of white today, I think. And some very light turquoise into that. I'm very impatient. I like to get on with my work and really enjoy it and build it up. That's what painting's about, is enjoying, surely. More paint. Mix up. Needs loads of paint today. Slap it on. Now, because my canvas is a slightly different shape to the actual photograph, I've got slightly more sky than I would have done in the photograph. I'll drag this through before I add even more different turquoises to this. I bring the yellows back into that, so I'm going to deliberately drag this up and through into this to just like feeling of clouds and edges here of the rain. So say I want a slightly more contemporary modern feel to the painting. I don't want a traditional landscape particularly. Cream, and we'll add it in here amongst this. Dry my brush off and we'll look at more of a turquoise and blue there. I'm going to go to a cobalt turquoise next, which is much greener. Just experiment and we'll explore. Every painting should be slightly different, and as I say, I don't just want a straightforward scene of this. So we started off with this just plain blue area, and I'm really looking into colours in it and finding a lot more than might just ordinarily appear. I'm almost working a broken colour effect into it, I guess, as in Monet. Probably larger strokes. Yeah, but there's a bit of mud on my brush, but in this case it's coming from the pencil. That's one problem with using a pencil, is it until you fix it with the paint, it can come off into the paint, so I know where I am. So building it up in this way of blocking, I want to go back to my turquoises and bring some of those turquoises into here, the way round. So an unusual way of working, a different way of working, rather fun, always should be exploring, all of us. Now I want to go back to the very light turquoise. I want to just break that into that lower sky there. Right, and to really set the light to this thing, I'm going to now go to very cool cream up in the sky here and make some lemon yellow and white, which would be much, much cooler and brighter. So I need plenty of white and only a touch of lemon yellow to really give this a very light, bright. Let's try this now across here. And you see just how light, I almost want to go to white on this now. We'll really pick up on these lovely cloud effects here. You can curl some of them slightly now to not to overdo it though. And you see how the cool yellow plays against this lovely warm yellow here, down to the fading of this bright cloud. So quite different to the photograph in that I'm taking it that stage further. Now we get a sort of crossover between the abstract and the figurative by doing so. I quite like that sky, I don't want to go too far with it. So let's work my way down now to the landscape here, and almost directly into some turquoise there. I can see just the turquoise I want with my turquoise violet already. See two turquoises going on here, a greeny turquoise and a more yellowy turquoise. That starts about here. So we're going to keep using these vertical strokes to find all these beautiful colours. So I'm really pushing the colours. I want the joy of colour. I do enjoy so much. They get warmer as they come forward. So what we have is cool in the distance and warmer gradually coming forward. So you don't often see me painting a landscape as yet like this. I want to do more like this when I'm in France. I must admit I'd like to work like this on plein air a bit more. A bit warmer into that, take some yellow ochre into that now and go even warmer down here. A base coat. Maybe I should have gone the other way around, maybe I should have gone light and then dark actually, but anyway it doesn't really matter. Prussian blue again, one of my favourites as you know, Prussian blue and some burnt sienna. That should give me a lovely warm dark for warmer still I want there. A bit of purple into it. Better. We'll start to feel the edges of this and then we'll come back with some lighter colours if we need afterwards. I shall bring other colours over this shortly. More warmth into that and take some some crimson and Prussian and a little touch of purple. Really find these darks here now. And what you thought was a dark before now suddenly doesn't seem so dark when you put an even darker next to it. The same way as I can use cools in the same way. So let's take a bit of the blue now and work that blue into here. Oh, I've got some beautiful blues and grey blues going back here. Let's just try some of these softer greys first of all. Now we've got some cool coming into there. I'm going to try and bring a bit of the turquoise into it. Now let's go back to some of the blues into the very background here, and I'm going to take some ultramarine and a bit of cobalt and just start to try and find these beautiful blue, deep blue passages in the distance of these. Now what? Got these beautiful deep rich blue to purples coming down to here. Pure colours, really trying to find pure colours. And then they come down to slightly more mauve, so I'm going to take some magenta into that blue and make a mauve, a richer, warmer, beautiful mauve right down into here. This lovely purple grey happening, which will bring colour over later. Then you see bits of building, just indicate them down behind here. Maybe I have to use a smaller brush soon, but we'll just find our way along here. Where these various buildings are in the background, very distance. Little bits of light I'm going to bring in with a smaller brush, little highlights here and there to fill in some of these gaps at the minute, so I know where I'm. It's the same cream that we were using earlier in the clouds and the sky, the very light cream, just to pick up on these highlights, playing some burnt sienna a little bit more just here as well, before putting in the cools. A bit more burnt sienna there still. As I come down here to the roof, the blues going on to cool it down here. Really look for these colours, lovely blues and blue greys and beautiful colours that are happening in here. And you see this blue I'm using now is getting a lot warmer, it's more into the cobalt. Warmer green, quite a lot warmer green actually. Just bring that down, round and through into here, so we can put the other colours underneath later. Just clear up this white as much as I can. Glow through down here as well, and I put the other colours on. The screen's going to glow through down there. How much warmer this is than the background, and this is what I'm getting at with you, is that we're going to go from warmer to cooler here. So once I lose this white, I can begin to see what colours I require where. I can pick them out with individual brushes later. Let's just get rid of the white. Pure with those colours later. Just find my way at the moment. Look at where the lights and darks are here. Once I've mapped these out, I can come back in with purer, lighter colours. Really find these colours. These warmer creams at the moment as I work my way through the lights and darks here. Just feeling where these little highlights are. Before going in and making them even lighter with the pale cream. This is the warm cream, but our cool pale blues and creams to come yet. Painting almost entirely built on highlights after a while like this. It's quite fun, isn't it? You know what I like to do, and it's one of those things that I do love to do, is these highlights. Even though I should be changing down brushes really. And let's start to try and really find some of these colours now. Still on the same larger brush at the moment while I work up these grasses here. Not entirely happy with those yet, and I want thicker paint on them anyway. So even with the heavy body, sometimes it takes a couple of layers to really work it up. We've got to look where these colours are in the background here as well. And remember what I said about one colour coming into another. Here now I'm just starting to work up the colours one into another here. To find some of these beautiful colours here. I really got to look. It's no good just mixing and hoping. I've got to actually find these colours here. And where they're brighter, make brighter colours. Lovely colours. So I'm using some emerald and lemon yellow at the moment to really find these strident greens just down here. The way that they come into those colours on my brush. Let's find these beautiful turquoise down here. And where else it might be, coming into here perhaps. A bit in places, maybe even back here a bit too. Going to link in these cooler colours, the greens back here. Go to a deeper blue, going to go down to the Prussian blue and a little bit of ultramarine now, and just start to try and find some of these deeper cools as well as the warms down here. I really will have to pick up a smaller brush. I can see I'm still working on with this. Back to my Prussian and a bit of sienna again to start to make a few darker coats here. Gradually building up these darks, darker and darker and darker. Leaving the lights behind, and I'm going to go back and flick in a few more lights a bit later. Getting the feeling of these individual roofs now that I can draw into it more. And suddenly the painting starts to come together. Just playing between the cool and warm blues again, the pinks and the and we've got to look at what the little pure bits of colour are as well. There's some lovely bits of blue going on over here, which matter so much. It'll be even stronger than that in a moment, I have a feeling, because I've got to make them stronger to work with the background. Make these colours sing and vibrate together. Need to find those really rich darks back there again. So we'll take some alizarin crimson and Prussian blue and just hit into some of these darks just here a bit more again. So we're taking these colours to quite a strong difference in colour tone, in tonal values, quite dark. One thing with this series, I think I've learnt a lot in doing them. It really pushed me to look for colour. At the stage where a painting suddenly comes together, almost Cézanne-like in working out these geometric shapes one to another. If I can just put these right colours in the right places and right shapes, all of this will just appear. This blue light flood over it. We'll go back with some warmer colours in a minute as well. Right, go down to a smaller brush, still using a flat, to get some of these brighter highlights of colour before doing final details. So I'm on hopefully the last stages now. Got a little 1/4 inch flat, hasn't been used before. Well, let's look at these some delightful orange pinks going on here. Take some chrome yellow, orange, so it's much stronger amongst some of these. That's too much. Down a bit. Too orange that was. A bit cooler, so I'm going to add a bit of magenta to it. Got to be just the right colour to make this work. There we go, beautiful, beautiful oranges and colours. Back over to here, just to the left here, there's one against there. Back here, coming through here, right through to the background and even distance here. I don't want that to be too bright just there. I'll take that back a little bit. And we've got a couple of chimneys down here that are fairly important in the picture. These are quite warm lights at the moment. I've got quite a light, a strong yellowy cream, so I'm picking up on here before I come back to a very pale creams. Right, and what I was saying just now, finally, hopefully, is just to come to the very, very pale creams now. The little bit of lemon yellow and white that I was using earlier to do the sky, very, very light indeed. Almost white in fact, to just pick out with these cooler areas. Just show that they're way to the background here as well. We'll just pick out some of these little light spots, and it should be surprising what they'll do. See how delicate these little bits can be, and they just will bring out the sunlight on Get cool against the warm there as well. Little bits of light just trickling over here. Leaving Argenton to shine out in the light. Now these cools back here can make those warms seem warmer as well. Just let these one or two cooler yellows flood up through here to pick up on pick up on one or two of the darks here and there, dotting the I's and crossing the T's at the final junctions. Just watching these angles a little bit here. Okay, we need to just finish off this painting now. The sun's coming around, and what I want to do finally is just pick up on these very light greens in the background. A little bit of white into emerald, into a little bit of lemon. We'll just see if we can capture a few of these very strong sunlight just coming across in the background here. Places. Don't want it too much, just a little bit here and there. We'll just pick up on a little bit more green. Just coming into the shadows here. And there we go. I think we're about as far as we're going to go with this painting. So what are we going to sign it with? Probably a dark colour bottom right, I think. Maybe I should make it much lighter. Maybe I should make it a bright pink or something over like that. The signature is such an important part of a painting if I get it wrong. Okay, I'll try it as a cool, because the warm isn't going to work. I wouldn't think just the signature can be such a problem, but it is. It's a part of the painting. Any colour we put on it is going to affect it. Like a frame, the signature should be a part of the painting, not an integral part, not a separate entity. It kills it. No, I'm not happy with that. Perhaps I should sign it the other side. Just maybe I'll sign it the other side. I'm not happy with that at all. Yes, that's better. There we go. See, even something as small as a signature can totally throw one out. What do I use? I'll take a closer look at it. You can see how these larger brush marks work. A semi-abstract feeling. So let's look back into the distance at it and add a bit more detail, shall we?